Now, almost every country in the world has played an international football match, but there's one that hasn't. That's the Marshall Islands, which are in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
However, that is about to change. Two British men have helped organise their first ever international matches, and I'm delighted to say we can speak to them live now. We're joined by Technical Director Lloyd Owers and Commercial Director Matt Webb. Thanks for joining us this morning, folks. Lloyd, let's start with you. Just tell us a bit more about this project, and considering that you are from Oxford, and I don't think have any Marshall Islands blood in you, how did this get started?
Yeah, very randomly, very uniquely. So it's about 2022. I was doing online coach education, different interviews, different pieces for just to help people coming out the back of COVID, and it just kept going. And then I came across a story from The Athletic, which was all around the Marshall Islands. And then from that point, I randomly had a piece that I was doing that fell into the hands of Shem Levi, who's the president of the federation. And from that point onwards, it was just a case of finding out a little bit more about the country, what their aims were. They had a federation for football, but was sat idle for 2-3 years. Shem reached out and just, offered the chance to help, and a little bit of due diligence my end to make sure it was actually happening. Yeah, and it was. So from that point onwards, from January 23, where we started the project, to now, it's unbelievable where we've gone. We've gone from zero football in the country to playing our first 11v11 fixtures this summer.
Oh, it's an amazing story. What about you, Matt? When did you get involved and why?
Yeah, very similar background to Lloyd, actually. So I read about the Marshall Islands project online, and I thought that sounded like a bit of me, to be honest. I reached out to Shem. I hounded it on social media, and I think eventually he thought, what's the worst that can happen? So my background being in marketing, and the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation doesn't receive any external funding. So we're a team of volunteers. So my role is to basically try and source funding. We've had a very successful kind of merchandising campaign, and we've got fans and followers from around the world. So for us, that's the biggest thing. It's getting more people interested in our story, with the ultimate goal of one day being part of FIFA, being part of World Cup qualifying. And we're taking lots of proactive steps every single day.
Lloyd, I'm fascinated in how the sort of player recruitment went. How do you hold trials, and how do you get word around the islands of where those trials are taking place? How do you go about trying to get a squad together?
We're quite fortunate in the sense that we have a really, really unique situation for the Marshall Islands. There's a really strong cultural and historical tie to the US. There is a US military base on one of the islands of Kwajalein. And because of that, there are a lot of players that are American descendants that have lived in the Marshall Islands, either from birth or for 20, 30 years. So we have players that were able to use of American descent from that angle. We have players in Majuro, the main island of the Marshall Islands, which we've built over the time. So because the sport was new, we used futsal as an approach because basketball was so big. So the transition elements and the tactical approaches were good. But so we've taken the strongest technical players from Majuro for the summer games this year. And then we have half the squad that are US based, that are Marshallese as well. So Marshallese living in the US that are making up the rest of the squad for this summer. And because of the big connection to the US, there are massive communities of Marshallese populations in the US itself, mostly around Arkansas. That's where we're hosting the games. And because of that reason, we're able to then pull players into that fixture from all over the globe, which we're really, really fortunate of as well.
Yeah, and Matt, we're just seeing some pictures of some of the players there. But Matt, the Marshall Islands making your international debut, I believe it's next month, the Outrigger Challenge Cup. Which countries are involved, and what's it been like from an organisational point of view?
Yeah, it's been a lot of sleepless nights trying to not organise just our first ever match, but an entire international tournament. So we're very fortunate to be joined by two FIFA nations, so the US Virgin Islands and Turks and Caicos. And actually we're being supported by Ozark United, who are a professional USL team who are located in the Springdale region as well. So there's going to be 4 teams in total, including ourselves, and we're looking forward to promoting that. There's a lot of challenges and logistics that goes into organising an event. So we've just booked all of the flights, accommodation, catering and transportation all to come. And we're going to announce our squad later this week, as well as how people can watch, because we're going to be live streaming the event.
Oh, fantastic. I look forward to that. Lloyd, you've obviously been over to the Marshall Islands. How have the community responded to this project?
I think the first time I went was July 23. It was new to everyone, new to me being in a new environment, new to everyone else thinking, like, why are these people coming into the country and why are they starting football? Why are they starting soccer? So Now it's a case of every time you go, it's so much more of a reception. You know people. There are people that want to help you all the time, and that's always been the case. But now it's a bigger level, and it's to the point now where you literally are in supermarkets and people will talk to you about the sport, whereas 2 years ago that wasn't happening. But yeah, it's fantastic. Now that you go there every time, you are just meeting new people that want to help in new ways, and we're discovering new players all the time. We've got 2 years ago we didn't even have youth playing the game, whereas now we have 200 kids a week playing in schools. We have kids that are doing different activities outside of school as well. So we've got those sort of platforms to build on. But yeah, in terms of when you go, it's amazing that people just recognise what we're doing and want to be part of the journey.
Matt, you've got 10 seconds. How can people still donate? Because I know you're crowdfunding.
Yeah, so we've got a GoFundMe that went live over the weekend. So if you go to rmi.soccer, so www.rmi.soccer, any pledges are welcome. It'll help us put on this great event. August 14th to 16th, we'll be sharing details of how people can buy virtual tickets too.